that crease out. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about The Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. Now, I first of all read the book and then I also watched the series on Netflix, which was Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I was really inspired. I thought Marie was really influential and also very endearing, and I generally just loved the process of watching people tidy up their homes and generally feel a whole lot better about their space and their personal items. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, I highly recommend either reading both the book or watching the series. It's truly amazing, particularly if you would like to spruce up your space, get a little bit neat and tidier, and also just have a general bit more appreciation of all the items that you own. I wanted to do my own experience and kind of like journey through the whole tidying up process, so I wanted to share with you all of the tips and methods that Marie kind of has spoken about previously, and just generally kind of create my own kind of experience and share that with you. Now, there's lots of KonMari essentials and methods which I'm going to talk you through shortly, and also while I'm talking to you I'm just going to share with you some of the footage that I got through the whole process when I did it myself. Now, the first method is to generally commit to the whole entire process. You can't be half in it and half out of it. You have literally got to stick to the whole way of doing it, and also the essentials, moving from one category to a next. Now, the next one, you've got to imagine what your space or area that you're currently living or residing in looks like. It's good to just sit with your space or where you're currently residing in and just to think of what it is that you would like it to feel like, look like, and generally just imagine to be. The next one is category over location. So you have to just literally focus on the clothes rather than focusing on the wardrobe or the chest of drawers, because they could literally be scattered anywhere around your space. So clothes is a category in itself, and always remember that it's the category over the location. Now, the next one is to follow order. Don't dip from one category into another. Always stick to that one category before moving on. I knew the one that I would struggle with the most, which is generally the same for a lot of people, is the sentimental category. So I knew that I had to stick with that one, kind of like the last on my category list. So always follow order, and the last but not least, you have to spark joy in everything that you do. And that will become a little bit clearer a little bit later on, but generally the overview of sparking joy is if a item or a bit of furniture or something that you own in general within your space is not creating joy or doesn't spark joy for you anymore, then it's probably not meant to be in your space any longer. Now, I have to be completely honest when I say this. When I first read that part, I was a little bit like, I'm not so sure about this. Am I going to feel like a Wally? Am I really going to feel joy through some of the items? But I was actually pleasantly surprised by how clear it kind of became in my brain of categorising between the keep pile, the don't keep pile, and the items that I wasn't so sure on. And the whole sparking joy method really helped me to differentiate whether I wanted to keep an item or depart with it. Now, there's many types of categories that Marie Kondo talks about. The first is clothes, so that's generally the first one that she recommends starting with. Then you've also got books and paper. That is literally just to sort out, as it says, through all your paperwork, various different papers and receipts, and also your books. Now, you've also got Komono and Miscellaneous, so that's various items from your kitchen and your bathroom, and also just miscellaneous items and storage areas. And then the final one, my hardest one that I had to deal with, was sentimental. So cards, letters, photographs, anything that has sentimental value to you. Now, the first category I'm going to start with is clothes. Now, this by far was the hardest one that I had to do in terms of the amount of time it actually took to do so. Now, I have to pride myself on the fact that I was better than what I actually thought I was going to be, in terms of throughout the years I have kind of like been sorting as I go. So I know that I hoard things, but generally not when it comes to kind of clothes. I know that I have a clear out every so often. I'm not one person that will literally, over the space of 10 years, store all of those clothes. I generally, after a couple of years, I will tend to kind of get rid of things. Now, the first thing that Marie says for you to do is to get get all of your clothes out of your wardrobe and your drawers and put them in one big space. Now, as me and Davey still don't have a sofa, I know, we've been here literally ages and we still don't have a sofa, but it was a perfect opportunity for me to get all of my items and put them in one space. And when you do that, for me personally, I couldn't believe how many items that I actually had, and a lot of which I don't necessarily use anymore. They are literally just there in my wardrobe. And I also found that some of the pieces I was just waiting to use for another time, and I knew that if I had the option, if they were still there, then I would probably necessarily wear them again, maybe once, or that's what I was telling myself anyway. This is mammoth. So far I've got a lot of keep piles, but not a lot of maybes. I keep going. As I'm doing this, I'm slowly starting to realise I was probably a little bit more organised than what I actually thought, because a lot of this stuff I am actually going to keep. And that I've kind of been using over the last couple of years. I always have a rule of thumb that anything after a couple of years that I haven't used in a while, I'm probably not going to use. So this is what I've achieved so far. Still looks like an awful lot to go, but these are my jackets and my coats, which I'm going to keep. These are all my skirts, which I folded up. These on, I'll be able to see these as they go into my wardrobe. These are the dresses that I'm going to keep. And then over here, this is the pile that I'm not so much sure of, or pretty much going to get rid of. So just folding up my crop tops. Normally I'd just keep in like a pile like this, just so I could see what's what. But I'm folding it up so to create these little tiny piles, whereas I'm going to just keep my skirts like this. This is how she tells you to fold it. You fold it over like that, a bit like you do with the big ones, and then you have to fold them over in three. So this is really difficult with one hand, but you just go one, two, three, like that. Create a little tiny pile. There we go. So again, with the trousers, I'm just going to fold them up like this. It's literally 3/4, so fold them in half, then you lift up the first lot, so in threes. I like to keep them like this because they are piled up like that at the bottom of my shelves, so I can see them all just exactly as Marie said, rather than being folded up like little mini folds and kept upright in the drawers. These are some crop tops, these are some bigger tops, and these are some crop tops, but they're bigger ones rather than the real tiny diddlers. This is definitely what takes up the most amount of time, is the folding. Oh my gosh. Literally so time consuming, but very worth it. Now, when it comes to your drawers, Marie says that if you fold up your items in a certain way and have them horizontal rather than vertical, that this will, one, make things look a lot neater, which I am not so sure that it does personally. I do quite like it, but I also feel like you could probably fit a lot more in vertically, but that's just my opinion going through this process. But it does look great, and also it also makes you see exactly what items that you've got in your drawers, which I definitely agree with, and it's good to just see what you've got available to you rather than knowing in your head what outfit you want to wear for the day and rifling through your drawers to kind of like get that item. The trick to folding is you literally just have to fold it in half, fold it over again, and then sit it up horizontally. She also recommends you going from light to dark colours so that it looks a little bit nicer and more aesthetically pleasing. And here's a little bit more footage just to show you the final end result. Well, slowly getting there. This is the thank you, I loved you once but I do not have use for you anymore pile, and this is what's left. The folding has taken ages. I've still got that to tack over there, so yeah, getting there. There we go. I feel like I have Marie Kondo'd my wardrobe, and it feels rather good, I have to say. Even my drawers are completely folded. Who knew folding was the way forward? That woman is a genius. Oh, feels good. Now I know I mentioned this earlier, but I already had kind of like my clothing items already in a kind of order, so to speak. So I originally thought it would only take me a day, but I have filmed this process literally over the span of a good week because I definitely didn't anticipate the length of time that this was going to take. Also, going back to the essentials right at the beginning, this is where the committing really kind of stands out for me, because it got to this point and I thought, oh, maybe I could just skip a few corners, and then I thought, no, I'm going through this process and I need to see it out to the end. I'm really happy with how it's turned out as well. I feel like my wardrobe and my drawers are in a little bit more of an order. The folding does take its time, but I've generally kind of started to get a little bit more into it now, and it's kind of becoming second nature. Moving on then to books and papers. Now books, I don't really have that many here in this flat. Generally all my books are back home with my parents. I never moved them all up, so that one was fairly easy for me. I know that I've got several books at a time which are in my bedside drawers, and then I've just got a few stacked around various different rooms. However, when it came to paper, I am a massive hoarder of receipts. I generally just throw them all into one drawer, so sorting them out was a real challenge. And also I've kind of got into the habit, as even though I'm employed, when I was self-employed it was more of a essential that I had to do, but I still like to keep all my receipts just in case anything goes wrong and I need to exchange it or take it back, or just generally for my own records. This one was a real handy for me because it felt really good to get my desk drawers in order, and also my bedside drawers as well. Here's a little bit more footage just so you can see how I got on with it. There we go, nice and clean and organised and in an orderly fashion. I have no idea where all of my stationery is gone, which is a bit worrying because I bet you anything Davey's pinched it. But yeah, passport, gift cards, work bills, paperwork, some cute little books, and my electrical odd bits and pieces, and my SD cards in there. Sorted. So I started at the top drawer as well. I've just got my nail varnishes and bits and bobs that I frequently use when I'm in bed. My headphones, a pen, because you always need a bit of that, some trusty essentials like some hand cream, and also I like to put in the book that I'm currently reading as well. So there we go, all in, done. Next up is Komono and Miscellaneous. Now I found the bathroom a little bit tricky because I have a lot of products, and it was just trying to make my space a little bit neat and tidier. And then also with the kitchen, I know that since that me and Davey have moved in, we have quite a fair few kitchen items, but we generally have more of the essentials, so I knew that it was just going to be moving stuff around, and also our food cupboards are generally quite packed, so it was just condensing them all down, putting them all out onto the side, seeing what we had, and then rearranging them, and just to make our spaces that little bit easier. Marie also recommends that some of the most used items you use are in the most reachable of places, and the general items that you don't necessarily use, so certain dishes or whatever, they generally go to the back of the cupboards. Also, when it comes to drawers, if you have little boxes or anything like that spare and you don't know where to put them, you can generally use the lids or use these in certain drawers just to separate certain items as well. I found that really easy when it came to my makeup drawers. I have a lot of spare makeup, and also my face products, and then hair items. I really wanted to have a space where these were kind of separated but all in one area that was quite neat and tidy. When we first got our wardrobe, I wanted some shelves. I also had a basket to kind of pull out, and that would be for all of my hair appliances and products, just for things like hair dryers and hair straighteners and curlers. My dream is to have a walk-in wardrobe, but this was the next best thing, literally, if I'm moving around and we don't know where we're going to be in the future, so it was good to just have a wardrobe where that's all set out and has different compartments for different things. The same folding technique goes for bed sheets and stuff like that as well, and towels. I like to put these in drawers so that they're all tucked out and out of the way because I don't have much bathroom storage. And last but not least, Sentimental. Now, I love photographs. I like to hoard letters, cards. Birthday cards are a thing. Every single year I keep my cards because I just love to look back at them. I am so sentimental. I've also been storing things over the years on different hard drives, so I've got many different hard drives as well. Guys, this is what I struggle with the most, is getting rid of my sentimental items. I am a card hoarder. I've got some over there which are from like family, from like birthdays and stuff like that. And I've also got some goodbye cards which I've just found. which I received from some of the guys at the trampoline park where I used to work in before I moved up to Milton Keynes. And I just, it's just so sad. I can't get rid of them. They do say that you should kind of go through it and see and leave this category till last, but I like hoarding cards and there will be a time and a place to get rid of them, but today is not the day, so I'm going to keep them. I've now got a drawer for sentimental things that I've got my bedside drawers, and I've also got a drawer in particular that I like to just collate and keep everything in one place. I found this a real struggle because generally everything sentimental that I have I like to keep, and this does create a lot of storage and a lot of space, but I knew that I wanted to keep a lot of my sentimental randoms, and I just felt that they had to have their own place in the house rather than be all sporadic. And then the last kind of items like Christmas trees and boxes and suitcases, or anything that are essentials, they went into our storage cupboard. So there you go, that was my journey through the method of tidying up by Marie Kondo. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed the footage. I've really thoroughly loved watching other people do this and go through this challenge. It was definitely more time consuming than I thought it was going to be, but it was definitely rewarding. I feel like I've learned a lot, and also I generally feel like I've managed to create a lot more of a nicer ambience and experience within my own flat, which was ultimately what we set out to do anyway. And I'm definitely now on board with the whole sparking joy feeling and just creating a better space to live in. Let me know if you're going to give this a go yourself, or if you've already done it and your experience of it. I would love to know down in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you thought of the TV Netflix series and also of the book. I definitely feel like I've spring cleaned my way into spring and summer. These are my favourite seasons, so I really feel like I'm starting afresh and have kind of just spring cleaned my wardrobe and my general living area. And now I've got a lot of space. There's no excuse not to get my final furniture, whether we stay in this flat or not this year. I have no idea, but we are in desperate need of some furniture and some basics, so it's time to get some new items to create joy and fill up my space. Once again guys, I really hope you've enjoyed watching this. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you did. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to my channel, and I will catch you all next time for my next video. For those of you that are new to my channel, I create lifestyle, beauty, fashion videos. That is not going to change. Let me know if you would like to see anything from me in particular down below, and I will catch you all next time with my next video. See you later everyone. Bye!